I am worried about the possibility of a terrorist attack in the country after October 7th.
They're threats to America and the source of major flashpoints around the world. From Israel's offense in Gaza.
This is a larger battle. Our battle is your battle.
To Russian aggression in Ukraine. Not to mention China's rise.
China's aspirations for greater geopolitical power will probably become all the more apparent.
Now on Scripps News Reports, the state of the world and a focus on the Americans keeping us safe.
Having to have assistance in order to feed their family. You're protecting our country. Why is it you have to stand in line and get food?
A heart-to-heart with brave members of our military.
I watched my husband struggle with understanding what that difference would be.
This is a special edition of Scripps News Reports, Path to the White House. I'm Lindsay Pena in San Diego. The community here is a vital part of America's military, and that's been the case since the First World War. In minutes, you'll hear from some of the people working to make America safer and stronger, their unique challenges and their struggles in focus. Then later this half hour, the two leading presidential candidates, where they stand on the major issues around the world. But we want to start with that focus on the people behind the uniform. From North Carolina to Colorado Springs, from Georgia to Texas, from Florida, across Ohio, to right here in California. Members of the military aren't just part of the communities across America. In many places, they're the backbone. Austin Grabish leads us off.
In San Diego, the military is always ready to jump into action. America's finest city is the home port of the Navy's Pacific Fleet. The iconic USS Midway is docked here and serves as a scenic landing for paratroopers. But it's Camp Pendleton that gives a clue San Diego is a military town. It's one of the first things you see when driving into the county.
Our military presence here is extremely significant.
Retired Navy fighter pilot Jim Kidrick is passionate about sharing the military story. He's CEO of the San Diego Air and Space Museum.
If we ever went to an all-out war, San Diego is one of the targets. There's no doubt about that because it's so valuable.
Valuable because San Diego is the largest concentration of the military in the entire world. An estimated 110,000 active duty service members are based here. 350,000 civilians work in defense-related jobs, and a quarter of the country's active duty Marines are here. They train at MCAS Miramar and Camp Pendleton. At Naval Base Coronado, the most elite will become Navy SEALs. Only a quarter of candidates survive the grueling and sometimes deadly Hell Week that tests physical endurance and mental toughness. Coronado is also home to helicopter squadrons. Here, sailors conduct search and rescue training. Nearby at Naval Base Point Loma are some of the most capable attack submarines in the world.
There's well over $50 billion added to the economy every year with what we have.
Kidrick says San Diego has always welcomed the military, and
I can tell you, having been stationed here multiple times, the military cares about San Diego.
An impressive military town that's more than just beautiful. Austin Grabish, Scripps News, San Diego.
Let's dig in with some veterans, opening up about the issues that matter to them. I recently sat down with a group of them. We begin with Chad Lunsford, a recently retired Master Chief in the U.S. Navy who served for 30 years. Joey Jerome, a retired Navy chief. Joe Yorty, Navy veteran and member of the LGBTQ+ community. Ashley Kamak, CEO of 0800 and a military spouse. Miss Iris Wilkins, Marine Corps veteran and current welding teaching assistant at Workshops for Warriors. And last but certainly not least, Bob Lawrence, a former military reporter. And thank you. Thank you all for being here and giving us your time. We want to dive right into our questions. Some of you have recently retired and some of you have been out of the service for a while now. What would you say was the most challenging thing for you while transitioning back to civilian life?
32 years as an adult, I've been told what to do by the military, so now I'm going to go into civilian employment. Don't even really know what it looks like. It's just a different animal that you think you're prepared for, but you're not.
Yeah. I think that I watched my husband struggle with understanding what that difference would be when he took on that civilian role. And I watched him struggle with things that he was told to do every day for 20 plus years. But I saw him excited to reacclimate with the community and really come home and be home and feel that family again that he would lose every time he would deploy.
From my own personal experience and through other veterans that I know, veteran homelessness is actually something pretty common, or just finding the ability or the resources to prevent going homeless. So oftentimes veterans find themselves in positions where they're couch surfing, and some might even have families, and they can't access these resources until they've already spent their first days on the street. So along with transitioning in our TRS programs that we have, just knowing what resources are available to you or how to access these as a preventative measure would be really helpful.
I got out almost 18 years ago, and I'm only now taking advantage of VA benefits that I was entitled to for the entire 18 years, because in the military, no one told me that I was entitled to those benefits. And I encourage anyone watching this to ask a lot of questions and to explore what those benefits might be.
So, no secret that San Diego is a very expensive place to live. How do the current economic conditions impact the wallets of people in the military that you still know right now and those of you who are out?
Cost of living's rough. Normal cost increases for sailors, service members, doesn't keep up, especially if you're a younger sailor, maybe junior in pay grade, and you've got a family. Trying to live anywhere close to San Diego. Plus, San Diego itself has a bit of a housing crisis going on, so just finding a place. Rent is well above DH in most cases, so it's hard. Solutions-wise, I don't know. I'm sure somebody smarter than me's looked at it at one point, but why is active duty or military pay taxed? That little bit of money back in a sailor's pocket or a service member's pocket would make a huge quality of life improvement. So if people are looking for ways to fix it, can't change how expensive San Diego is, but maybe putting a little bit of money back in a service member's pocket for their family would be beneficial.
I think it was sobering for me, covering the military, to actually see E3s and below in a food line, having to have assistance in order to feed their family. And that was sobering to me. It was like, you're protecting our country. Why is it you have to stand in line and get food?
Ashley, I want to have you answer because you probably can speak to that,
I think
perspective.
Both from a family perspective and as the CEO of a nonprofit, we're looking at the cost of living here, but really working through assessing what the challenge is. Are we reaching service members far enough in advance to be able to give some education and proactive support to understanding this market? When you're in the military, you're very focused on the mission. And when you leave the military, you now are outside those lines, and this is all new to them.
Joe, you served during Don't Ask, Don't Tell. If you could, take us back to that time and just share with us some of the challenges that you personally faced.
Between 2002 and 2006, I served in fear, especially on board the ship. I was careful, but I lived out in my personal life. It caused, I think, unnecessary stress in my life, and I was so glad to see it overturned. It's one of the main reasons I got out of the military, and I hope that queer servicemen and women are serving. I hope their experience is better than mine.
I wanted to hop in on what you said, that you hope that new service members are living a better experience. We are.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we are. It's definitely where, for any of the service members that I've at least met, like whoever they are, they're true, they're doing their mission, but I'm thankful that they're able to be true to themselves too.
That's great to hear.
And, yeah.
What things do you think the military can do to alleviate the mental health crisis among both active duty personnel and veterans right now? I think everybody can kind of agree this is a big and main topic that a lot of people focus on right now.
So when I joined the Navy 30 plus years ago, it was taboo to talk about mental health. It was a sign of weakness. It would sideline your career. And even if it really wouldn't, there was a stigma that it would. Today, it's okay to say you're struggling. It's okay to say you're having problems. But now we don't have enough mental health professionals. So I would say we need to incentivize programs to get college kids into the mental health professions. The government and everybody that puts out different grants needs to target this because it's not just a military thing.
I think that there's been an incredible amount of work over the last decade or so to be able to say you're struggling in the military and receive the care. But I do also think there's an incredible amount of work to still do. One of the things I believe is being handled is the continuum of care. When you have service members who have now stepped up and said, I need support, I'm not feeling well with my mental health, the idea that you get out of the service and then you have to go navigate the mental health industry in the field to find the next person to care for you is maybe where we can do better.
Yeah, bottom line, we owe it to our men and women who swore an oath to protect and defend. And it's time, I think, Congress step up to say we owe these people for their service and to step up in ways that they haven't done yet.
And I think going on top of that too, if you get injured, what do? You sit out. You got a busted up ankle. We sit you on the sidelines for a little while. So what? You're still not in the fight. So if I have a brain bruise, why can't I sit out for a while? But it's all this, like Mashik said, it's a stigma of, oh, you're perception. Well, if you're injured, you're injured. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't care what type of injury it is.
Thank you to those amazing brave men and women for joining me. Up next, a focus on the flashpoints, where the leading presidential candidates stand. And the top threats to America. You might call it the axis of upheaval. Back now in San Diego, our next presidential election comes amid global crises, from the Middle East to Ukraine to growing concerns about China's ambitions. It's a significant list of threats. We asked Jason Bellini to help make sense of it all.
This is evidence released by Ukraine's security service that this, which did this, was one of these, a North Korean ballistic missile, signaling to the White House that a so-called axis of upheaval, authoritarian enemies of America, is coalescing and enhancing one another militarily. Russia replenishing its missile stocks with ones made in North Korea. In return, Moscow believed to be helping Pyongyang acquire spy satellites and submarines and develop more advanced nuclear missiles. Iran selling Russia missiles and drones to attack Ukraine, and in return, Moscow reportedly providing Tehran advanced fighter jets and air defenses. China, in alleged violation of U.S. sanctions, transferring microchips and other banned military components to Russia. Moscow reciprocating by helping Beijing with its submarine and anti-ship weaponry programs. China also bankrolling the Russian and Iranian weapons spending spree, snubbing sanctions and buying up their oil.
I would think of these four countries like giant termites. You know, termites with really big chaws, right? That are chomping away at the edifice of the international system.
Cliff Kupchan is chair of the Eurasia Group, International Political Risk Consultants. If these four countries perceive that the U.S. is pulling back, doesn't want to be the world's police force, what do they do with that?
The real prize here is the shape and nature of the international system for the next couple decades.
Kupchan's International Crisis Consulting Group, in their 2024 Global Risk Assessment, warned about the Middle East, saying the region is a tinderbox and the number of players carrying matches makes the risk of escalation exceptionally high.
I think the Iranians came very close when they shot 320 cruise missiles and drones at Israel on April 14th of this year. We got lucky, we shot them all down. And they intended to have some of those get through. if that had happened, we'd be living in a very different world right now.
It will also be a different world if Russia is ultimately rewarded for its war on Ukraine. A might makes right victory would be one for all in the axis of upheaval. Jason Bellini, Scripps News, Washington.
All of this comes in the midst of the presidential campaign now hitting a higher gear. How different would it look if former President Trump were to return to the White House? What about another 4 years of President Biden? Here's our White House correspondent, Haley Bull.
The presidential election stands to shape how the United States responds to significant global conflicts.
If the United States stepped off the world stage like Trump wants us to do, who would lead the world?
President Biden has emphasized democratic values in the U.S.'s global leadership. He sought to strengthen U.S. alliances, particularly in Europe and the Indo-Pacific. But the continuing wars in Ukraine and Gaza have dominated his foreign policy agenda.
Russia would have never attacked Ukraine if I were president. Never. Not even a possibility. And Israel wouldn't have happened. The October 7th would have never happened.
While Trump blames Biden's leadership and claims that conflicts only happened because he wasn't president, in office, Trump rattled the international organizations and agreements that have been a part of the world order for generations, from NATO to the UN. On the Middle East, President Biden's initial full-throated support for Israel has given way to criticism over Gaza. His red line against a ground invasion of Rafah didn't prevent Israelis from using American bombs to kill civilians there. He still backs an eventual two-state solution. Trump has criticized pro-Palestinian protests, urged Israel to finish the war, and told Time magazine he thinks a two-state solution would be tough.
Welcome back.
On Ukraine, President Biden has backed NATO's expansion and rallied international aid in the face of Russia's invasion, even amid Republican opposition back home. Trump threw into question continued U.S. support for NATO, but recently held back on a forceful opposition to continued Ukraine aid. And he has raised concerns as he expressed admiration for Russia's Vladimir Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong-un. Meanwhile, on China, both candidates have had to manage competition and confrontation. Both impose tougher tariffs. What would happen in a second term? Spencer Bakich is a senior fellow at the University of Virginia's Miller Center.
With respect to China, I suspect that we would see a return to the hard-edged, highly competitive trade and military strategy that the Trump administration left off with in 2020. With respect to the Middle East, I think that what we would probably see is a continued embrace of the Netanyahu government at the explicit detriment to the Palestinians. The difference, I think, between the Biden administration and future approach and the Trump administration future approach would be some sort of sensitivity to the Palestinian cause.
Bakich indicated Trump's strategy could be similar to his first term, while Biden could pursue a more cohesive strategy to confront multiple fronts.
That's a very, very difficult task. You don't want to create a monolithic conception of a tightly knit axis against the United States, when in fact that isn't necessarily the case on all issues.
In a second term, either president will have tough choices to make as the global threat evolves. Haley Bull, Scripps News, Washington.
Coming up next, outrage over the situation in Gaza. What does it mean for presidential voting? We're in Dearborn, home to the largest Muslim population per capita in America.
The political landscape in the U.S. has changed drastically since the start of the Israel-Hamas war back in October of last year. Here in Dearborn, Michigan, the home of the first Arab-American majority city in the country, the community has been expressing its dissatisfaction against President Biden's handling of the war. And since then, campaigns like Abandon Biden, Uncommitted, they've all sprung up. And now, over the months, the reach has gone beyond the border of the city.
It's two options. You either become desensitized and do nothing, or you become enraged and do something.
Mikhail Goodman, Lexus Zedan, and Joshua Feinstein are some of the key members of the Uncommitted movement.
You're talking about a generational movement.
A campaign that rang in more than 100,000 Democratic uncommitted votes in the key swing state of Michigan during the February primary.
We actually turned 42% of unlikely and non-likely voters to the polls.
While President Biden won the state with more than 618,000 votes, Oakland University political science professor Dave Dulio says the Biden camp is worried because in 2020, the president won Michigan by only 154,000 votes.
That is
a tranche of votes that could end up determining the outcome, actually, in a state that's going to be as close as Michigan.
Come November, what are you guys strategizing towards?
We're not thinking about come November. We're thinking about August 6th and doing everything every day to lead up to that down ballot races, to get at the state rep level, to get at the U.S. Congress level, at the U.S. Senate level, so that we can have people represent the people.
We want justice, you say how? It's not like those folks are going to go and vote for Trump. But any vote that doesn't go to Biden is a benefit for Trump. And I think Michigan is a state that is absolutely critical for Joe Biden's path to 270 electoral votes.
A recent Harvard-Harris poll shows Democrats overall support Biden's handling of the Israel-Hamas conflict. But Professor Dulio says for Biden, the balancing act is going to be tough.
He may end up alienating both sides.
When people come and say you guys are Americans, you guys should be focusing on issues that are impacting Americans here, how do you answer that?
Our largest budget is our military budget.
Exactly.
And when we want to up our military budget and increase our military budget, the first things we cut from is healthcare and education. And healthcare and education plagues brown and black communities across this country.
For Scripps News, I'm Faraz Javed.
Back now from San Diego in our closing moment together. Communities like these sometimes feel like they couldn't be further or more disconnected from what happens in Washington. On the one hand, it's true. We're some 2,600 miles away with a unique set of local challenges. On the other hand, as we've seen this half hour, the president and his policies have a direct impact on our country and our communities. The commitment from us here at Scripps News is to cover the national and global issues with a focus on our American cities and towns. The path to the White House runs through Scripps country. For now, in San Diego, I'm Lindsay Pena for Scripps News Reports.